only had 3 prizes. You had to come up with a 4th one.
True.
Don't look at me.
I'll just tell Taylor to get.
Oh wait, they can share one. That's right. They can share if it's not a bad treat.
Right.
It's not like an ice cream cone.
Right.
You can't share an ice cream cone, but do you have
your prizes are Chick-fil-A gift cards, and come see me after the message, and
I'll go with you.
Guys will
Chick-fil-A
get
gift cards. Yeah.
But you have to remind me, and Levi gets one too.
That's
you guys will
awesome.
have to remind me though. Please remind me because I will forget.
He's serious. He has memory loss like I do.
I do have a memory loss thing for sure.
Kelvin, that was a fun game.
Yeah,
but now I'm hungry.
Yeah, I'm mad hungry.
I want to go eat at Garden of Eden.
Ooh, that would be fire. Heavenly food, I would say.
Where was that one at? I don't remember where that was at.
Where?
I want to go. We got to go to Destin, Florida. I want to see that one.
Word.
I want to see Frying Nemo. Sorry, that's mean.
All right. What do we got next? Announcements.
Announcements, yeah.
All right.
Are you good at announcements?
I think I got it.
All right.
I'll do the first one. You do the second one.
Okay, I'm going to cheat and look back here because I don't know what they are.
Go ahead.
Go.
All right. Eyes up here. We got some important announcements, some serving opportunities. The first one being Single Parent Blessing Day.
Nice.
Right? This is this weekend, Saturday, 8:30 to 12. You know the deal, breakfast, oil changes, car washes. We're doing this for single parents, people that may struggle to change their own oil or wash their own car and maybe just don't have the time. So if you have a passion for people like that or situations like that, please come through and please help us. We would love it. We would love it.
It's a great service. My mom was a single mom. She would have really benefited from something like this back in the day.
Me too. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Single moms for life.
Was there a symbol for that?
So what? It's a half heart.
Oh.
You know how you complete a part like that? Just
See,
like that.
there you go.
Single Parent Blessing Day.
I like it. Very nice. What's the next announcement? Is there another one or no? I don't know what this one is, so you got to talk about it.
This is...
I'm confused.
Wait. Class of 2022 home visits. So
this means if you're doing bad, Kelvin's going to come to your house and try to encourage you to do... Is that not right?
No.
Oh.
I don't think that's it.
I don't know.
So this is...
What is it?
This is an opportunity for, I'm pretty sure, our graduating seniors. Right?
Okay. I get that part, class of 2022. I get it.
So we'll have home visits. We'll have people come to your home. There'll be gifts, stuff like that. You can sign up online and you can go see more information. I didn't have a bunch of information about it, but
awesome.
All I heard was that you get a gift for signing up. So go sign up.
Nice. That's awesome. Very cool. Is there another one or are we good?
I think that's it.
Yes, it is. So guess what that means the time it is?
What time is it?
It's time for worship, buddy.
Time
so you want to get them ready for it?
Worship time.
Get them ready.
All right. So the reason that we worship, does everybody know the reason we worship? Levi. To show our praise to God. That's a good one. Blessed be the name of the Lord. So we show our praise. We bless the Lord. A lot of people say that they can't meditate or they can't do things like that because their mind gets real clouded. But the point of this exercise isn't to clear your head or make your head a certain way. It's to come to God with the thoughts that you have and to kind of see how that goes. So I'll pray us in. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you that we can all be together for this Wednesday. I pray that you open the hearts of the kids in this audience. Please help them to receive the messages that you give them on a daily basis. Help them to meditate on your word and help them to love these groovy beats. It's in your son's name we pray. Amen.
trust in. To you I pledge my life, to you I lift my hands. You open up my eyes, I am forever changed. I cannot stop this fire, I'll never be the same.
There's a place for me. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. I am chosen, not forsaken. I am who you say I am. You are for me, not against me. I am who you say I am. I am who you say I am. I am who you say I am. The sun sets free. Oh, is free indeed. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am. In my Father's house, there's a place for me. I'm a child of God. Yes, I am.
You may be seated.
Welcome back. No, I'm just kidding. Man, every time after bass, I get getting a little callous. I like it though. So guys, I'm sorry I wasn't here last week. It was my mom's birthday, so I was out there celebrating with her, obviously. So it's my mom. I mean, what am I gonna do? So, but we're in this series that's on thoughts and prayer, which it's kind of ironic that Taylor asked me to teach on this because more so now than probably ever in my life, prayer has taken on a new meaning. I mean, I've always been aware of prayer, and I think with us being in the Christian faith, you hear the word prayer all the time. I mean, raise your hand if you've heard the word prayer, right? I mean, everybody's heard of it. It's a very common phrase used. The whole point of this series, though, is to get you to look at it in a different way, and today we're talking about that, how you're going to look at prayer in a different way, okay? Slide for me. Oh, look at that. Now, here's what I want you to look at. I am a science whiz. Okay, I love science. I love to figure things out. That's why I've got this picture up there. And no, that's not my brain. It could be. Oh, I don't know. It could be. I think Jason took an x-ray of my brain and maybe put it up there. But here's the kicker. I can't say a lot of these words. And I'm not ashamed to say it. But with your brain, here's how learning works. When you read things, right? Reading, when you retain information, you're learning, your brain grows. And as you get, everyone understand that? When you get older, your brain grows. Raise your hand if you understand that. Like you learn things, your brain gets bigger. So here's the kicker. When you pray, there's a certain part of your brain that I did not realize actually grows when you pray. Because you're accessing a part of the brain that when you're communicating with God actually helps your brain to grow. How crazy is that? I didn't know that. I was reading going, there is no way. Okay, it's a scientific fact. Well, guess who got proven wrong? Because we always look at prayer as from the spiritual standpoint, never the physical standpoint. And that's why I wanted that slide up there for you guys to see that our brains, which is a very physical part of us, grow from communicating with God. Now, prayer sometimes can be, I don't like the word intimidating, but I guess it's an appropriate word, but I will say this. Raise your hand and don't look around. Look at me. My hand's going to go up too. Raise your hand if you've ever been in a situation where you've either been told to pray, asked to pray, whether it's in church, maybe at school or thing, and you felt kind of awkward or didn't know really where to go with it. My hand's going up. Now, here's the thing. Here's what I want to tell you. That's okay. That is completely 100% okay, because every person has their different ways to pray, and what you have to do is find yours. And one thing I never liked growing up, and I know you guys have probably had this, I went to a Christian school from preschool through 8th grade, so it was very common in our classroom for our teacher to go, hey, let's see, Kelvin, you're praying today. And what would happen is all the eyes in the classroom, what do they do? They look at Kelvin. So when it would happen to me in school, and they go, hey, Christian, your turn to pray. They look, I'm like, oh, crap. And I like sit down because now I didn't think I was going to pray. So now I'm like, okay, what am I going to say? Okay, let me think. Dear God. Okay, I'll start with that. And that's about as far as you get. And then by the time you're trying to figure out what you want to say, the time to pray is over with. Or she's like, okay, thanks. Or we're like, hey, let's take a moment of silence. And I'm like, okay, so is this a silent prayer where I'm not supposed to think, or am I supposed to think? Do I talk to you? Do I not talk to you? Okay, here I go. And right when you're done, they go, okay, we're going to start class. And you're like, thanks, Miss McGillicuddy. Like, that was my teacher's name, legit, Miss McGillicuddy. Yeah, I know. Yeah, so now you see the trouble, whoever laughs, you see the trouble I went through. But so with me, we were always surrounded with prayer, and I never knew the right way to do it. Raise your hand if you've struggled with that, where you're like, even if it's just yourself, you're like, I don't really know how I should pray at this time. Okay, that's an okay thing, because each time you pray is going to be different. There's different aspects we're going to look at today of different types of prayer. One way, next slide, the main way that people think of is they ask for help. A main prayer is like, oh, I'm in trouble, please help me. And the reason I have this old phone up here, yes, that's a phone, believe it or not. These actually existed. Okay, when I was a kid, your all's age, there was no cell phone. If you wanted to communicate with somebody through a phone, you had to stand in your living room. For instance, I had one that was on the wall right near my kitchen. And I had another one that was like this, that was right near the living room. If I wanted to call somebody or talk to somebody, you had to go pick up that phone, pushing the buttons, spin it, whatever, and you had to dial somebody. You had to stay right there with that phone. That's the only thing that phone did. You just talked on the phone and talked to whoever you had to talk to. It was a one-way line of communication. And I think sometimes with prayer, we look at it as, you know what, we're only going to pray when we need something. That's like the most common prayer is when you're in trouble or someone's sick or there's something going on that you really that you really want to see a certain result for. That's typically when we pray. And I'm going to put my hand up. That's how I used to pray. I wouldn't pray, thank God for this. I would pray if I had something going on, a family member sick, a pet was dying, or a friend of mine got hurt, or I got hurt, or I got in trouble, which never happened. I was such a good kid. Why are the adults laughing in the room? You don't know me. You don't know my life. So we're going to move on from that, but yes, you pray typically when you're in trouble or when you need something. And here, I'm not saying that's bad. That's just the most common way. That's why I have that picture up there. That is a one-way communication. Now, this is different, okay? These phones, you can do a heck of a lot more than just call on it. If all you did with this phone, if you have a smartphone or an iPad, if all you did on this phone was call somebody, you'd be wasting its potential. Because with this phone, I can do so much more. I can text somebody. I can go on the internet, look things up. I can play games on it. For instance, I'm going to use my mom as an example. My mom, first getting a phone, I can't tell you how many times I got butt dialed from my mom because she was trying to do it. And you're going, how does this work if Christian would just get over here and help me? I'm thinking, Mom, I'm on the phone. Hello? Hey, and I'd start screaming. And she's like, what's that noise? It's me, you crazy lady. Anyway, hope she's not watching. Love you, Mom. But these phones can do so much more than just the one-way communication, and that's the way I want you to look at prayer. Prayer needs to be like a smartphone, not like that phone. And I don't say that in a bad way. I'm just saying that when we have prayer, there's so much more we can get out of it because it is our way to communicate with God. And think about it. We're social beings. We were created to be in community, like how you guys are tonight. Okay, being alone without anybody or talking to God, it can be a very sad time. It can be very upsetting, depressing. You can find yourself in a bad place. And when you communicate with people and with God, it lifts your spirits. And here's the thing, God is always there. It's not like those phones where if you dialed on that old phone, you better hope your friend's there, because if not, you're going to ring. And if they have no answering machine, you sit there for a while, then it just clicks. You're like, oh, okay, I'll try again later. With God, if you go to talk to God, doesn't matter what time of day or night, He's there to listen to you. And the best part is, Sometimes you go to your friends if you have a problem. You ever have a friend where you go and talk to them, they kind of look at you like either they don't care or they stop listening where they're talking to you and they're like, yeah. Uh-huh. And then you realize they say something that doesn't fit and you're like, you shouldn't say yes to that. I just said I was feeling depressed and you said, uh-huh. That doesn't match what I'm telling you. With God, you don't get that. And here, I'm not telling you when you're talking to God, you're going to hear this voice come down and say, yes, I'm here to listen to you. That doesn't work that way either. So don't go home and go, I'm going to try this. Christian said if I go home and talk, I'm going to hear God's voice beaming. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when you feel the need to pray or the urge to pray, just do it. And here's the kicker. A lot of times we miss out on things, next slide, because we're treating prayer one way. We're looking like, okay, here's the way to pray. I have to fold my hands, sit down, or be at an altar, or only pray at church, only pray at the dinner table, things like that. And that's not a bad thing, but those are formal prayers. Like my family was raised when we sat at the dinner table, we always prayed before we eat. One thing I didn't like is they go, hey, say something you're thankful for today. I'm like, Mom, I want to eat my steak. I want to tell you I had a bad day. I'm not thankful. Well, what would you like God to do? I'm like, stop. This is like I don't like prayers like that. I'm not a very formal prayer person. Ask Jason in our small group, do I ever, and this is me being honest, do I ever volunteer to pray us out? No, and here's the thing. I'm telling you that because I'm being real with you. Prayer out loud is not a strong point of mine. I've never been a big prayer. I don't know why. That's just, I'm being honest with you. So raise your hand if prayer doesn't come easy for you. It's okay, good. I want the honesty because here's the thing. We're going to talk about a way to do it where it doesn't matter how you pray. All that matters is what you are doing, that you are talking to God. You're going to him in different ways. And the best part is Jesus modeled this for us. He taught us probably one of the most important prayers, and it's part of the biggest sermon he ever did. What was that, Jason? Which sermon? A+. Go. Oh, I definitely was off the foot when I was trying to high five you. Just good thing online can't hear that. You guys didn't. You're like, you're way off. But anyway, I'm going to read this to you real quick. Will you put it up there for me? If you'll read it. So it says, this then is how you should pray. This is Jesus talking. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread and forgive us our debts as we also have forgiven our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Here's the kicker with that prayer. That prayer is not for Jesus. I'll tell you one reason why. Jesus didn't sin. We do. So what he's doing here is showing us one way to pray. And in this prayer, there are 3 specific parts in this prayer. And one thing that Jesus was always modeling is, next slide, being real, being authentic. Not like to sit there and say, okay, I'm going to pray because maybe if you're in a private school, my school says that you pray, so I'm just going to pray. That's not being real. That's doing something because someone's telling you you have to. Now, I'm not saying don't go to your school and say, I'm leading a strike, I'm not praying. I'm not saying do that. What I'm saying is when you choose to pray, be real about it. Okay, that means really talk to him about what's on your mind, what's going on. Because here's the kicker, guys. Unlike humans, God is above that. He can handle anything you're dealing with. I promise you. And I'll go into specifics on that with my life too later. Next one. Next slide is be honest. Because here's the kicker. You lie to me, I may not be able to tell. I mean, I'm pretty good at judging it. But like, if you're a really good liar, I may believe anything you say. Guess who knows when you're lying every single time? Your parents probably do because your dad's like on a lie-o-meter a mile away. Yeah, and your mom scares me. She probably does. Who does?
My dad does.
Yeah, oh, yeah, that's true. Parents. Anybody else? Yes. Your parents do too, but yes, God definitely does. So here's the thing. Why go to a prayer? If you're feeling bad, right? If you're having a bad day and you go and say, oh, Lord, my life is so good. I just want to thank you for everything going on. 2 things. You're not being real and you're lying. So you're wasting your own time at that point. Your time to go to God where you're going to be real and be honest, you're now not doing it. Instead, if you're having a bad day, tell him. Don't keep it to yourself. Unburden yourself. If you're having a great day, then do that. Be honest, be grateful. Say, hey, listen, I did have a great day. Thank you for today. It was awesome. I had a good day. If it's a bad day, say, listen, today was not my day. It was terrible. I pray that you would come in and please change something. Make something change. Make tomorrow better. Allow me to see the good. Like, you be honest with it. And here's the last one. This is the one I struggled with. Be consistent. Because here's the kicker. It's really easy to go to God when you need something or when you want something. Like that kind of prayer, for instance. Dear God, I really, really want to get an A on this test. I really, really need your help. Can you please let me be in the right frame of mind? Let me do excellent on that test. Or promise it's not. I just had tickle. I had tickle. Here's one for me. Oh, I've got to at work tomorrow. I'm going for a promotion. Please, please, please let me be on my A game. Let everything work. Those prayers are easy. When it's not easy is maybe when things are going good. A lot of times for me, if things are going good, I don't think to thank God for it. I mean, things are great. I'm going to go on through my life. When things get rough, why'd you do that to me? Why is this going on? Like I go with that kind of a mentality when in reality, it should be all the time. Whether it's good day, bad day, Monday, Tuesday, whatever day, that's when I should be doing it. It should be as regular to you as eating. The reason is, if you're praying, that's like food for your soul. It's like reading the Bible. It's one of those things, if you do it, the more you do it, the better you're going to feel and the more you're going to get out of it. I promise you. And the reason I promise you that is I've literally recently in the last few years done that, made prayer consistent. And I kid you not, a difference, and maybe not even years, I'll even say the last 6 months, 6 to 7 months, what a difference in my attitude. You can ask my wife, ask my family, a whole difference in the way that I am. I don't come home as grumpy as I used to sometimes, because raise your hand if school makes you grumpy sometimes. Okay, so work can do the same thing. Work can make you be in a bad mood, just being honest. So if I have a bad day at work, I go home and say, God, today sucked. Like I'll just say it. Let's be honest. That's what I'll say sometimes. And you know what? God can take it. He doesn't go, I can't believe you said that. I gave you today. Shame on you for feeling that way. That's not how God works. Maybe that's the voice in your head. That's my voice in my head does that sometimes. But God's not like that. Next slide. Jesus gave us that prayer we put up there, not only to show us the heart he wants you to have, but he wants you to give the idea of how to pray. Because sometimes, what we said, the hardest part is to learn it, is how to pray. So let's break that prayer down. The first kind of prayer you do, next slide, is thanks, where you give thanks. You know, you're thanking God for what's gone on. You're thanking him for a good day. Whatever it may be, you're giving thanks to him for waking up, for having, maybe you got an A on that test. Maybe anybody had toaster scramblers for breakfast before? I mean, that's fire, dude. My wife bought those the other day, and I was like, thank you, Jesus. And she's like, I bought them. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I was wanting them, so I got to, go up there too. But that's one thing. You're thankful. It's a good prayer. It's a very upbeat part of the prayer. Second one is the please. This is the ask part. This is where if there's something going on in your life, it could be anything. Talk to God about it. Ask him about it. Whether it's you're asking for something for you, asking for something for somebody else, maybe it's a family member. Like I said, anything can be in that blank where you're asking for something. Third one, this is the one that a lot of people sometimes struggle with. It's sorry. It's when you mess up. Nobody likes to mess up. Nobody likes to do something wrong. But when we do, we need to acknowledge that. So like when he's saying, forgive us our debts, okay, those are things, what that really means is forgive us our trespasses, what we've done either to ourselves, to other people, any of those things. Those three parts are integral in that prayer he does. But I kind of like to break it down a bit. I think there's two more that really can fit in your prayers. Okay, and like I said, not that these three aren't good, but there's two more that I'd like to add. And the fourth one is wow. And here's the reason. I don't mean like, wow, you're awesome. What I mean is if something happens that's way out there, something you didn't expect, who's old enough to drive? Oh, I don't want to say it. No, you're Jason. You have to redo your test. I'm just kidding. But let's now. I don't want to say this and have your parents come after me. Don't give me emails. No phone calls. Let's say that you were to get a new car, okay? Or let's say that your parents would let you drive everywhere. They're like, hey, listen, you can do this. Or you go home and you got a brand new PlayStation 5 or something. Anything that's like the first thing of thanks is like your typical things you go through. Thanks for this day. Thanks for that I've got food. Thank you that I've got clothes to wear. That I've got friends. This one's like, holy cow, thank you for that. For instance, if you're an adult, tax season, if you get money back for your taxes, wow, thank you. I'm glad I got money back. Like, that's a wow. Yeah, man. Like, that's a wow, okay? And here's the last one. This one, I think, is one that we don't like to do because we kind of struggle with it, and I'll explain in a second. The fifth one is, which means questions. This is the part that I think people feel like they can't do. This is where the honesty comes in. Sorry and have the honesty. And the is when you have questions. Like, for instance, I'll do one of my questions. Why did he have to die? For instance, I was raised by my uncle. My parents are divorced, so my uncle raised me. And back in 2010, the same year I got married, thank God he was able to be, I'm thankful to God that he was there to be there for my wedding. But later that year, he passed away from a very simple procedure. Should have made it. I talked to him the night before. Was going to bring him DVDs the next morning. I actually worked at the church at the time, so I actually was going to go there after church. drop off DVDs. We're going to have a Star Wars marathon, whatever. We were just going to chill. And that morning, I woke up to a phone call that he passed away. So my prayers during that time were very, very real, very dark, very angry, and full of questions. And here's the kicker. That is okay. Don't let someone tell you you can't go to God in anger, you can't go to God in fear, you can't go to God with questions. Those are lies. I'm telling you, he is the one person you can go to with anything and he can take it. Sometimes friends can't take it. I feel like sometimes where my head goes, sometimes I'm like, yeah, I don't want to let you in and see my head because you probably would question me and you probably would look at me differently. God doesn't do that. If you're going through a rough time and you need prayer and you've got questions, ask him. He can take it. And if you want to bring those other people, you can say, hey, listen, like for instance, Jason's, I've got on my hand, I call it my 5. I have my 5 people that if things really hit the fan and I'm having like the worst day ever, I've got 5 people who I know if I reach out to one of those 5, and actually, look at Dustin's right there. That's another one. I got 2 of the 5 in here. I can reach out to them and know that if I say something to them, they're not going to judge me. They're going to look at me the same way that God does, which is with compassion, love, and understanding. And that's what God's there to do. Prayer, like, don't look at prayer as this formal thing that you have to be in church to do or you have to be on your knees at your bed to do. Now, I don't do it with my eyes closed, so let me preface this. I've prayed in my car before. Not with my eyes closed, eyes open. I've prayed in my car before. I've prayed at work. I've pretty much prayed almost anywhere. Right? Because it doesn't matter where you pray at. What matters is that you're consistent with it and you're honest with it. So whatever you're going through, I don't know what it is. I hope that it's nothing too, but if you're going through something serious or a good thing, let God know about it. And here's something I want you to really hold on to. Next slide. Prayer is not about the words you say. It's about the way you do it, the way you say it, the way you pray. It's not so important to say, going through the motions of, I have to say these things. It's about the way you're doing it. You're being honest. You're being consistent. You're being real. Because that's the time where you can be 100% you to somebody who's not going to look at you in a different way. And I'm going to give you a personal example right now about this. So recently at my job, these round of promotions came up. So you have to test to be a sergeant, right? So you have to go and do a test. You take a written test, then you do an oral thing where you have to go and pretty much encounter situations and approach it the way a supervisor or a sergeant would. So I thought, okay, my job, that's the next logical step in my job, and my thing is to move up. So I put in for it, along with 32 other people, which is a lot. I'm like, okay, and so I told my wife, hey, I'm just going to try this. I doubt anything's going to come from it, but I did it because I felt, I didn't pray on it. Here was the kicker. I didn't pray about it. I just did it because I thought this is what I had to do. Took the test, did okay on the test, did the oral part, felt like that was good, and then I just forgot about it. Well, 4 days later, I get a phone call from really higher ups, and they go, hey, congratulations, you made Master Corporal. Thank you. Like, I wasn't expecting it, and here's the problem. I hadn't prayed about it, so when it came on to me, all these thoughts came through my head. I found out I was going to be going to night shift, and so I talked to Carly about it, and my family we all talked about it. Night shift would be absolutely horrendous for my family life. I did nights for 4 years before that, 2 years with the sheriff's office and 2 years at Tolls. Had I prayed about that before making that decision, those things would have come to light. My wife and I would have talked more about it. I would have never taken the test. So now I found myself in a position that I had to go and say, hey, I can't take it. So when you talk about prayer, this was back in December when it all happened, when it all first started. So that's why I say like the last 6 months just is when things really prayer really blew up for me. I prayed hard, morning time, night time, in the bathroom, wherever I was. I'm like, okay, well, here's my time to talk to you. I prayed so hard because I wanted to make sure I was making the right decision for me and my family. I didn't want to make a decision because someone else told me I should do it or because society told me this is what you have to do. I wanted to make sure I made a decision that was right for me. Had I not prayed, I wouldn't have done that. Had I not really talked it out with God and then talked it out with Carly about it, I would have made the wrong decision and I would have been on night shift and my family life would have definitely suffered from it. Instead, guys, I can't tell you, I probably prayed at least 2.5 hours out of the day during that time, trying to decide whether to take it during that 2-week time frame. And I'll tell you, they were very deep prayers. Some of them were very ugly prayers. It was like I didn't want it. I just took the test. Why'd you let me pass it? Like some of it was like that. Some of it was, well, maybe I should go and do it. I don't know. It was there was questioning. There was thanks. There was please. All those things you saw, those 5 things were all wrapped up in every prayer I did for weeks. And because I prayed and I sought out that time, the answer came to me as easily as 2 times 2. It wasn't even a decision. Like it was laid out to me. I'm not saying God said, here, do this. It was just things become clear. The more you pray, the more you understand if you're doing the right thing in life, if you're making the right decisions, if you have the right friends. All of those things will line up if you pray regularly and most importantly, honestly, and being real about it. So those are things I want you to, I don't share that to say, hey, I share because had I not prayed, I don't know what I'd be doing right now. I don't know. I wouldn't be here every week, I'll tell you that. I'd have to be at work every other week. And it's not that I don't like my job. I do like my job. I enjoy it or else I wouldn't do it. But I had to do what was best for me. And the only way I did that was because I prayed and I was honest. I wasn't like, hey, God, show me the decision. I'm going to go and play Baccarat. I don't play Baccarat. I don't know. But I didn't do that. I was very honest with it and sat down, did my quiet time, did my devotion with it, and made sure that I was doing something for, like, being real with everything with it. Will you guys bow your heads and pray? I'm going to invite the band to come back up. If you guys will pray with me real quick. Father God, I pray that you are with us all tonight and with us every day. I pray that whatever's going on in these students' lives, whether it's good, bad, in between, I pray that you would just make your path for them clear. Allow them to see your love for them. Allow them to understand that they can come to you any time of the day, no matter what's going on, that you are there. You're going to be there to help them. You're going to get them through whatever's going on, that all they have to do is talk to you. I pray that you would make prayer easier for us, allow it to be something that becomes as simple as eating for us. And I pray that we'd all have a great week and be with us during this last song for worship. Amen. If you guys will, you can actually, if you want to sit, you guys can pray in your seats. You can come up here, however you want to be during this last song, but let this song be a worship/prayer song for you. Whether you stand, sit, does not matter to me. Do whatever feels comfortable for you, okay?
Before I spoke a word, you singing over me. You have been so, so good to me. Before I took a breath, you breathed your life in me. You have been so, so kind to me. No, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. No, it chases me down, fights till I'm found. These 99, and I couldn't earn it. I don't deserve it. Still, you give yourself away. No, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. When I was your foe, still your love fought for me. You have been so, so good to me. When I felt no worth, you paid it all for me. You have been so, so kind to me. No, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. No, it chases me down, fights till I'm found. These 99. mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. No, it chases me down, fights till I'm found. Leaves the 99, and I couldn't earn it, and I don't deserve it. Still, you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Come on, bass player.
I don't like pressure. Guys, thank you so much for coming this week. Reminders before we go to small group. Reminder number 1, if you've never gone this weekend, if you've never gone to a single parents, I think it's single parents. Is it single moms? Single parents, I thought so. If you've never been, I'm promising you, this is a huge opportunity to help people that typically don't ask for help. My mom never asked for help when we were growing up, and she could have used it. So I'm telling you, these women and men that come to this, they are blessed to go to this. These are people that need help and come there to get it. So you will be blessed to come and help with it, okay? So make sure you get there if you can be there. Now,